Hi guys, my name is Emily, and today I'm going to talk about The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. This is a book I picked up at a used bookshop a long time ago, and I have finally got around to reading this October. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is about a little girl named Trisha who goes for a hike with her mother and brother in the woods, and the mother and brother are fighting, and she kind of falls back, and then she has to pee, so she goes into the woods and decides to take a shortcut across the woods to where the path goes, where she thinks the path will go, and ends up really lost. Instead of going back, she decides to keep moving forwards and ends up well beyond where anyone is really looking for her. While she's in the woods, she starts to get this feeling that she's being watched, and it's kind of creepy. So that's what motivates her to keep moving as she comes across deer carcasses that have been ripped apart and are rotting, and hears things behind her and feels like something's watching her. I really enjoyed it. I read it at night before I went to bed, of course. It was very creepy, especially when King kind of created this sense of feeling watched and very isolated and alone. I really enjoyed how likable this one character was and how I could easily relate to her and identify with her, and the feeling of being alone and isolated and how it would feel to be scared in that situation. My one thing, and I know this probably isn't playing fair, based on the ending, spoilers, by the way, kind of spoilers, while Trisha is walking in the woods, the feeling of isolation, the scariness, the being alone, and being 9 years old, I don't know if I mentioned that, she's 9 years old and she's alone in the woods, that was all very real and something I could easily imagine myself in, and felt very realistically scary, and I really appreciated that, and that is what scared me, the realistic aspect of it. There came a point in time where it became clear that the thing in the woods was not just her imagination or something natural in the woods, but something kind of supernatural. The moment where it became supernatural kind of ruined it for me. And I know that's the experience of reading a Stephen King novel, especially his older works, that you're getting something supernatural, and that's the point. Maybe I wasn't in the right state of mind for it, because there was so much nature and natural scariness. That supernatural element right at the end ruined it for me, because I was so invested in this real space of being in the woods. Like, the woods, being lost in the woods is a real space and a real state that you could occupy. And that alone, for me, is terrifying. That is scary enough. So adding the supernatural element bumped it over the top to the point where it wasn't scary, but lame. Normally, the supernatural doesn't bother me. I love the supernatural in a lot of the other Stephen King books, but this time I feel like it just didn't work for me. That was my experience reading the novel. I did give it quite a high rating on Goodreads, I believe 3 or 4 out of 5 stars. So I liked it. I really appreciated the feeling of terror and isolation right up until the point where it became supernatural. So I did give it a high rating for just that initial kind of spine-tingling, goosebump-making experience. But yeah, I was a little disappointed, personally, with the kind of quick supernatural turnaround at the end. It's not a super scary Stephen King book. So if you're looking for something a little spooky to read this fall, I would highly recommend that you check this out. It is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. Happy reading, and I will see you soon. Bye.